This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Netflix has a new, monstrous story to tell. In 1950s Wisconsin, Ed Gein lived quietly on a decaying farm, hiding a house of horrors so gruesome it would redefine the American nightmare. Driven by isolation, psychosis, and an all-consuming obsession with his mother, he committed crimes that would haunt Hollywood for decades. The third and most harrowing installment of Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan's anthology series. Watch Monster, the Ed Gein story, streaming now only on Netflix.
Hey, it's Stephen Rothberg, and I am the founder of College Recruiter job search site at College Recruiter. We believe that every student and recent graduate deserves a great career. I am here today on the High Volume Hiring Podcast with Ravin Shaw of Hellohire, Toronto-based virtual interviewing and screening company. Ravin, did I get that pretty right?
Yeah, pretty good. Virtual interviews and screening platform. That's who we are.
Awesome. And before we kind of get into the meat of the conversation, when I was kind of looking more at Hellohire, your background, its background, I saw that it used to be called Show Floor. And so I'm going back into like the 1860s. I think Lincoln was still president. But I think a lot of times listeners find it interesting to sort of see like, what's the evolution? And it's great to know, and we'll definitely talk about it, kind of where you are today and the problems that you're helping to solve today.
Right.
But I think it's also interesting for people to sort of see where you came from, because that helps them sort of see where you might be going. So what was Show Floor? How did it differ? Why the name change?
All right. We're going way back. I mean, in the tech world, way back, we're talking a couple of years. But so Show Floor and this company originally was a virtual trade show platform. We started right in the beginning of the pandemic, realizing that the technology out there was great at like a Zoom call one-on-one or this big broadcast like a webinar. But as soon as you wanted any type of interaction, it started to fall apart, right?
Yeah.
And so we designed Show Floor, which was a virtual trade show platform where the software would, figure out who are the best booths or vendors for you, would present them to you, and then you could swipe right if you like it, swipe left if you don't, or click a button and jump into a live conversation with a rep on the other side, right?
And that's the piece you probably found that one-to-one easy video conversations is, I'm guessing, is that's where Hellohire came from.
There was one intermediate step. So what happened is we were selling trade show organizers who were only interested in going back to in-person trade shows. But what we did sell a lot of was career fairs and job fairs, where instead of buyers and sellers, you have all of these employers who are trying to connect with job seekers. And so that was sort of pivot number one into the world of virtual job fairs and career fairs. And then, like you said, the aha moment wasn't, we have this great way to discover employers and booths and all of that. It was, we can facilitate at scale massive numbers of conversations between employers and job seekers. And that was the thing that everyone was excited about. And that was the thing we ended up building Hellohire around. And yeah, it was that was the evolution of Hellohire.
Love it. As an entrepreneur, first of all, my condolences for being. I think somebody once defined entrepreneurs as people who would rather work 80 hours a week for themselves than 40 hours a week for somebody else. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I love the fact that you were very much listening, right? And it's like, we have this vision of where we want to go, but some of your customers, I think, were essentially saying, hey, a lot of what you're doing is great, but we're using it for a slightly different purpose. Right. And that's a trait of a good entrepreneur, to not be bullheaded,
Right.
and to sort of and to follow the market, because the world changed. God knows it certainly did when you starting the company,
Right.
and so we have to change with it. So the ability to connect employers and candidates at scale,
Right.
I think, is a critical part for high volume hiring.
Right.
As we were kind of getting ready for this interview, I think you were letting me know that, like, you've got some other things that those who are maybe new to high volume hiring, or maybe who have doing it for a long time but haven't really thought about what the elements are today, that
Right.
might be different than, say, 5-10 years ago.
Right.
Talk with me a little bit about what you see as really important for high volume hiring employers that are succeeding.
Right. So it's such a big question, and there's so much to talk through. But when we really think about high volume hiring in today's world, it is very easy to get people to apply for a job. And when we think about easy, like post it on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster, people are going to apply for your job, but they're not applying for just your job. They're applying for 30, 40, 50 other jobs at a time. And so while the industry has solved for that sort of top of funnel, how do you get noticed? How do people know that you're hiring problem? What we've sort of passed the buck to is really, okay, well, now that you have this plethora of applicants, how do you quickly and efficiently assess them, screen them, meet them? And that's where we've seen our customers really succeed, because and I hate to say it, but right now it's not the best employer that's winning. It's often the first to engage, or you've got to be one of the first to engage. And again, I'm generalizing, but in the high volume hiring category, we're talking about jobs in retail, hospitality, in contact centers, labor. It's industries where it's competitive. Like if you're not pulling someone in quickly, you're losing them. And so you're chasing someone who's already taken a role somewhere else, instead of, just having a wider pool to pick from.
Yeah. So well said. I think before the pandemic, when I would hear employers talking about speed,
Right.
what they were generally talking about was, how long does it take an applicant, once they've gone to the ATS and started the application,
Right.
to complete that application.
Right.
And employers would talk about, we're trying to get it from 20 minutes to 12, or from 40 to 17, or something like that.
Right.
With high volume hiring, and I think that Hellohire helps with this, and maybe tell me how, elaborate on this. That's certainly important. Right. But also, okay, once that candidate submits the application, how long until they hear back?
Right.
How long until they're interviewed? How long until they get an offer? How long until the start date? Like each of those elements, I think, if anything, they're more important than the number of minutes it takes to get, because the number of minutes it takes to complete an application, I don't think is a big differentiator anymore. I think that most employers are actually a heck of a lot better at that. So,
hey, we're the payroll baddies, and our mission is to make payroll fun and relatable.
And call out industry when they hear it.
You got to call it out. You got to call it like you see it. But we also got to shine a light on all those unsung payroll heroes out there, making sure we get paid.
Yeah, those are the real payroll baddies out there, and we love sharing their stories and showing them love.
With gold chain and everything, baby.
By the way, SAP is the best payroll out there, and if you don't like it,
get out.
So how does Hellohire help its high volume hiring employers with all those different speed elements?
Yeah, great question. So with Hellohire, the concept, and again, we were born from a job fair, right? A job fair platform. And the reason employers host job fairs is because they want to meet a lot of potential applicants, or candidates, in a short amount of time without having to do a lot of coordination work and back and forth, right? And so Hellohire just takes that outcome but builds a virtual solution around it. And so you don't need to tell everybody, hey, we're going to be available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Show up whenever you want, and have sort of it be unpredictable. In the virtual world, there's no physical space, so you can be smarter about it, right? And so what we're able to do is essentially go from application to interview in under 24 hours through Hellohire. And so again, it's that's where the time saving is. It's you're just taking your applicants, inviting them to an interview by sending them a scheduling link. But it's not like, a one-on-one scheduling tool like everything else out there, right? You're not opening up the entire recruiter's calendar or recruiters' calendars. You're saying, I'm interviewing tomorrow from 10 to 11 and 3 to 4. I'm going to be, it's an hour block. Now, what time do you prefer to the candidate?
Mhm.
And then our AI-based scheduling algorithm optimizes the scheduling so that recruiters never wait. So they're in back-to-back interviews, and the candidates, may wait, 0 to 5 minutes. Again, based on a bunch of factors that our scheduler takes into account. But they're back-to-back interviews, and so you don't end up with Swiss cheese calendar. You don't end up with time wasted with no-shows. It handles all of that and just brings the recruiters to back-to-back interviews. And again, to your point, in under 24 hours. So that speed, it's all accounted for. All of those steps, the back and forth, the scheduling, the pre-screening, Hellohire automates all of that and brings interested and qualified applicants to a recruiter, again, in under 24 hours.
Cool. So does the product as it sits now, does it essentially end at that interview stage, or are there things that you're doing after that, helping to facilitate the selection, the offer, the onboarding, or the things like that you're doing there? Is that part of your roadmap?
Not right now. So Hellohire, it's a virtual interview and screening platform. The thing we're going to help our employers do is go from a pile of resumes or applications and get to that interview again in 24 hours. The outcome of Hellohire is with every interview that you do, you're taking notes, you're rating each candidate on various criteria, but most importantly, you're determining if they're a good fit by selecting yes, no, or maybe. And so
in the platform,
right in that interview, you're seeing their
Okay.
profile, you're taking notes. It's all an integrated sort of one tool that does everything. And the next, like what we do have on our roadmap is an AI-based sort of, I don't want to say selection tool, but like it will analyze sentiment, analyze the interview, and provide you with a score that you can use
Okay.
as input. So you're not going to like the computer's not going to decide, or the robot's not going to decide, but it will layer on top and give you some other inputs that that you can use in the decision-making process. The other thing on our roadmap is workflow. So when you do say that someone in that first interview is a yes, it will automatically kick off the next step in that moment, right at the end of the interview. And so, the candidate is, completes their interview. It says, thank you very much. Give us 15 seconds to process. If they're a yes, it will send them to an assessment. It will ask them for a second, like schedule a second interview. It will do a criminal background check. Whatever your workflow is for the yes will get kicked off in real time. So when we think about not only have you, timing, not only have you done the first interview in under 24 hours, there's no back and forth for the next step. Now, the next step is right built into the workflow. And you can have a similar workflow for if they're a maybe and if they're a no. But usually those are more of a softer rejection versus your yeses, who you want to move through the process as quickly as possible.
Cool. And we need to leave off, but I think those who might be new to high volume hiring, thinking about getting into it, don't underestimate that automated workflow, because it might only be a 15-second email to somebody. Hey, thanks for meeting. please take the assessment. But if you're interviewing 15 people a day and it's Friday, and then Monday, you're typically overloaded with meetings or whatever, you might not get back to that candidate till Tuesday.
Right.
The candidate could care less that it was 15 seconds,
Right.
but they're looking at that as 4 days. And in that 4-day period of time, they probably have applied to 18 additional jobs and have 4 job offers.
Right.
So that's why you lose out on them. So Ravin, thank you so much. People that want to get a hold of you, how should they do that?
Try hellohire.com. We've got a free trial. It's an easy to use platform. So yeah, take a look. And if you're on LinkedIn, Ravin Shaw, Hellohire, try hellohire.com.
Awesome. Cheers, man.
Thank you.